I always think that my speaking is okay, can communicate in English well, until I took PTE exam for the first time. And then, you know what, I just got 63 for speaking module, which is the worst score compared to any other section. I spent hours practicing read aloud, repeat sentence, and watching so many YouTube videos. But still, I failed my exam in the first attempt. I just got 63 in speaking. But when I say I failed, because I have to tell you that my desired score is 79 plus each band, because I needed the score to apply for my permanent residency in Australia, which is very competitive. The skilled migrant visa 189 and 190. That's why I want to get my 79 plus in order to get 20 point, like 20 full point for English skill. But with a lot of practice and the right methods and templates that worked, I improved my score from 63 in my first attempt to 85 in my second attempt. Do you want to know how I did that? I am going to tell you of my secret and share my useful tips and tricks of how I got 85 in speaking section in PTE exam. So stay with me till the end if you want to know the easiest shortcut to get a very high score in PTE speaking. I am going to show you the demo as well and all the templates that I use for the real exam. This video will clear all your doubts and you don't need to worry about PTE speaking section anymore. Why am I making this video? I spent way too much time watching YouTube videos. As a result, I was still so confused because everyone telling different story, everyone is using different template, and I didn't know which YouTuber I didn't know at that time which YouTuber should I listen to or which template should I use, should I apply in the real exam, etc. So that's the main reason why I failed in my first attempt. I just got 63 in speaking. But how? What were the mistakes? What I did wrong in the exam, and how I fixed my mistakes. So I am going to share everything so that you can avoid making the same mistakes that I did in the past. I will be explaining each and every task in speaking module, the marking criteria with the strategy that I use, the template that I apply, and the things you need to be careful in speaking module. So please make sure that you take some notes which you will need when you prepare for PTE exam. So now I'm going to tell you how I got 85 in my speaking module in my second attempt. But first, let me tell you something. PTE is 100% computerized exam. I mean, everything is happening in front of the computer and the system is going to evaluate your score. And there is no human involved. It's not like IELTS exam that you have to speak with the examiner like face to face, but in PTE speaking you have to speak with the computer, and the computer is going to give you a score. So before I start my speaking section, what did I do and what you should do in your exam day? So the first thing, I need to check my headset and my microphone. I need to make sure that everything is working 100% fine. You have to spend enough time to check your equipment, otherwise you might have the problem during the exam. And then you don't need to be rushed, you don't need to care anybody else. If the person beside you want to start the exam, it's not like competition. So it's not something like, oh, if you finish the first person, you are going to get more score. It's not like that. So no rush, don't care anybody else, and take your own time. And then I will check my 2 markers, make sure that you have to get 2 markers and 1 notepad to take the note, and be careful that you can't write anything during the introduction. I think we will be able to start writing during the repeat sentence. Make sure that you put the lid or the cap on the marker because it tends to dries out. It dries out very quickly. And it's very important that you have to keep yourself comfortable. If you need to go to the bathroom, please do before taking the exam, and drink enough water, but not too much, because you don't want to go to the bathroom during your 2 hours of taking the exam. And then I just make sure that I stay focused, and I just need to smile. I'm going to feel like today is gonna be fun. I have practiced already a lot, and I think it is enough for me. So today is I will give the good performance. I will do my best. No pressure on myself, just like I'm going to play a game. Don't worry about how much score should I get today. You just do your best. This is how I tell myself to do in the exam day. Okay, now we are going to see the sixth section of speaking module. Start with the first one, personal introduction. This one is not this question does not contribute to your score, and it's just for familiarization purposes only. And in personal introduction, you will have 25 seconds to read the prompt and prepare your response, and then you're gonna have 30 seconds to record your response. But be careful that we are able to record our answer only once. And the technique that I can give to you is that you just spend the time, just buy the time in this section, because you might feel nervous, because this is gonna be your real exam, and then you might be nervous. Everybody starts speaking and then you feel anxious or something like that. So my secret is that I buy the time during this personal introduction section to calm myself down, and then if you need to do meditation, you can do it. And the answer here doesn't really matter what you speak here. You can just read the questions that you see them on the screen, or if you want to give your personal introduction, myself, I just say something like this. For example, my name is Pao. I am a student in Sydney, Australia. I am taking the PTE test today because I need a score to apply for permanent residency in Australia. That's it. That's all you need to do in personal introduction. We are going to see the second section of speaking module, which is read around. Read around is the first task, that is the real exam task, real exam question. So what is read around? We will have a message on our screen up to 60 words long. You're gonna have 5 to 7 questions, it depends. And this task is extremely important, so keep this in mind. Read around is extremely important. Why? Because around contributes to your reading score about 27% and your speaking score about 33%. If we do a little bit of math, you can see that it's equivalent to about 60%. It's huge. It's such a huge task. So if you do well in read aloud, I can guarantee you that you can succeed your PTE exam easily. You are going to get your desired score if you perform well in read aloud question. So it is important to know how is the computer is going to check your read aloud, your response, or evaluate your score. One thing to remember in PTE exam is that you need to understand how the system works. What do we need to make computer satisfied? So there are 3 parameters on which you will be marked on read aloud. The first one is fluency. What is it, fluency? Fluency means the speech flow. So we just need to read with the moderate pace. I mean, I have to make sure that I do not speak too fast or too slow. And then I will take natural pauses whenever I see the comma in the sentence, or at the end of the sentence, or whenever I see the connectors such as and or something like that. And then I make sure that I need to feel comfortable when I do read aloud and not taking pauses. As a result, we are going to run out of breath, and then you are going to get low score in your speaking in read aloud. So most students think that they have to speak so fast, but it's a big no. I mean, You don't need to speak so fast because speaking at fast pace will not give you extra points in fluency. So remember that fluency doesn't mean speaking fast. And the second parameter that you have to take care of is pronunciation. What does it mean? What does pronunciation mean for read aloud? Pronunciation is the clarity, how clearly you pronounce a word. But be careful, don't confuse the pronunciation with the accent. You know, your accent doesn't really matter, but what we need to do instead is we have to speak in natural accent. Myself, I still have Thai accent. I don't care. We don't need to care about our own accent, but we have to speak naturally with speak with the natural accent. We have to speak clearly, properly, and accurately. And then the last parameter that we have to take care of is the content. The content means the number of words you have spoken correctly. You just need to read the words properly, clearly, and accurately, as I mentioned earlier, as you see them as they shown on your screen. You might ask me, if we see some difficult words that we're not confident to pronounce them, can we just skip them? I would say yes, and I did before. If I see the word that is very, very difficult to pronounce, I just skip it. But you have to make sure that you do it smoothly, and we have to maintain the fluency. So to recap for you, to conclude for read aloud section, we have to keep everything natural, not going up and down, and focus on the clarity. Speak at a moderate pace, not too fast or too slow. And now I'm going to show you the demo how to perform read aloud and how did I perform, like how did I do in read aloud in order to get good score for read aloud and for speaking section. Efficiency is not your friend when it comes to cognitive growth. In order to keep our brains making new connections and keep them active, you need to keep moving on to another challenging activity as soon as you reach the point of mastery in the one you were engaging in. So we just need to keep everything natural, read the text naturally and not going up and down too much. Focus on the clarity, speak it clearly. And then I think I speak a little bit faster. You don't have to do, you don't have to speak that fast. But yeah, just try to speak like moderate pace, and then you're gonna get good score in read aloud. Now I'm going to give you the secret of how I practice my read aloud question. So have you ever heard about kill two birds with one stone? This is the technique, this is the secret that I want to share with you guys, that I want to share with you. Kill two birds with one stone mean you are going to succeed in achieving two things in a single action. So you get more done in less time. I always apply this technique for my PTE preparation, and it's work completely and it's 100% works. So since I am busy at work and study, I think you also are the same situation like myself, and we have little time to prepare for PTE exam. So what I did was I practiced my fill in the blank question, fill in the blank like reading and writing fill in the blank. When I revise, after I did all the blanks, and then I will revise the text, I will revise the text. Instead of read it quietly, I try to speak or I try to read the text out loud so that I can practice my read aloud and I can also practice my reading section as well. So this technique saved my life a lot. It saved my time a lot. I love this technique so much and I could not recommend you highly enough. Now we are going to see the third section of speaking module, which is repeat sentence. So we are going to see what the task is about, how it is marked, and tips and strategies that I applied and I want to share to you. And then what to do when you are not able to repeat the content or the sentence properly. So in repeat sentence, you will hear a sentence 9 to 16 words long, and after half a second, your recording will start, and then we have to repeat the sentence exactly as you hear. But I would say it's difficult to repeat the sentence exactly as we hear. I would say as much as you can. And repeat sentence is extremely important as well as read aloud. Why? Because it's going to contribute to your listening score about 23% and speaking about 33%. According to the score chart of apeunit.com, is about 56% in your PTE score. Is huge. So you have to make sure that you perform well, and then you practice a lot of repeat sentence. In repeat sentence, you are going to assess on 3 parameters as well as it's like a read around, but it's slightly different. I'm going to tell you why. So for each question, you are going to get marked for fluency 5 points, pronunciation 5, and the content just 3 points. You see here that the content is not the priority. So make sure that you keep this in mind. Content is important, but it's not the priority. So what is the fluency? Fluency means going in a smooth flow, not too fast, not too slow either. And you have to avoid hesitations and self-correction. If you do mistake, don't worry, just moving on. Don't need to correct yourself. And then what does it mean, pronunciation for repeat sentence? Pronunciation means speaking clearly. It has nothing to do with your accent. As I mentioned earlier for read around, repeat sentence as well. Just speak clearly. It's not your accent that you're gonna be assessed. And the last one is the content. Content is important, but one more time, it's not the priority here in repeat sentence. It is impossible to get 100% content correct, even for native speakers. Unless it's very short sentence, you might be able to get 100% of the content correct. But if the sentence is quite long or is very lengthy, for me is almost impossible to get even 70% or 80% correctly. So what should we do? Which strategy we have to apply in order to handle with the lengthy sentence? So the first technique is initial technique. Initial technique means that whenever you hear the sentence, you have to try to take a note the first letter of each word, and then after the recording start, you just need to repeat the sentence. You just need to you take the initial, and then you have to be able to memorize what you take a note, what is it referring to, you know what I mean? And then you just need to repeat the sentence after your recording start. Second technique is memorizing. Some people have very good memory, so what they have to do is they try to memorize the sentence, understand the meaning, and after the recording starts, they will repeat the sentence straight away. But for me, and maybe for you as well, I don't have very good memory, so I use the mix techniques. I use the technique which is called the mix. So what I did was I take some initial for the first part of the sentence, and then for the second part of the sentence I try to memorize, and then I will repeat the sentence as clearly as possible, as fluently as possible. So you know what, Pearson is not expecting us to repeat 100% of the content correctly. They said that this test is not the short memory skills, but personally I still believe that we need to apply our memory skills a little bit in order to, we have to memorize something, because this language is not our native language. So I think memory skills can help us in order to perform well in repeat sentence. But don't worry too much, because the more we practice, the more we listen to the repeat sentence, the better you will be. I'm sure that it can't improve overnight, but you will get better. You will be better if you practice regularly and consistently. So to recap for repeat sentence, what to do. The first one is understand the sentence and speak clearly and fluently. The second one, listen less and speak less. Because if you listen more and you speak more, you are going to make a lot of mistakes, you are going to correct yourself, and therefore you are going to get low score in repeat sentence and your speaking section in general. And the third one, we just need to repeat 50% or 70% content, but make sure that you speak it clearly. And I want to tell you what do the majority of students do in repeat sentence, and I myself also did in my first attempt. We always try to recall everything. We try to get 100% of the content correctly. So as a result, we will give a lot of hesitation and a lot of pauses. So let's hear this sentence as an example. Solar power is going to replace coal and oil as our primary energy source in the near future. What we should do for the lengthy sentence like this, what I will do in my exam day, I will repeat something like this. Solar power replace our energy in the future. If you do like this, you are going to get full point or almost full mark, almost full point in repeat sentence, and your speaking score will be very, very good. But most of the students try to recall everything, try to remember everything, and then they end up like memorize nothing or almost nothing. So normally, most of the students will repeat something like this. Solar power going to replace something in the next or in the near future. If you do something like this, I can guarantee you that you have to save some more money and you have to book the exam again and again. So be careful. Don't try to recall all the content. We as a human being, we cannot do it. 50% of the content is completely fine, and then you just speak it clearly, fluently, and then you are going to be fine, trust me. So now I'm going to show you the demo of how did I perform repeat sentence and how you should do as well in order to get good score in repeat sentence.
Next time, we'll discuss the influence of the media on public policy.
Next time, we discuss the influence of the media public policy. As you can see here that I try to get the content as much as I can. Don't need like 100%, of course. I couldn't do that. 50% is completely fine, but I try to speak like clearly, fluently, and naturally so that I am sure that I will get good score in repeat sentence.
University students pay a lot of money for their education.
University students pay a lot of money for their education. So I hope that I was clear enough for repeat sentence, and I hope that you will be able to perform well for repeat sentence for your exam as well. Now we are going to see the fourth task of speaking section, which is describe image. What is describe image? So you're gonna see an image appears on your screen, and we just need to describe the image in detail. This task is very, very easy. I myself haven't practiced that much because you're gonna have the template that can help you to perform in this task. And describe image contribute to your speaking score only about 22%, and then you're gonna have 40 seconds to describe the image. And I have to give the credit to Language Academy because I apply their template I use the template from Language Academy. So this is the template that I use. The given image gives information about, you just need to put the title. It is a very beautiful image and I have to speak for 40 seconds about this image. There are different elements in the image which are 1, 2, 3. I can also see 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 it means you can take some keywords that you see on the screen and then you just put it in like replace the number with your keywords that you see on the screen. One of the elements is maximum and the other is minimum. To conclude, the image is very, very informative. So that's it. It's very straightforward. It's very easy. You don't need to practice 20 describe image per day. I didn't do that. It's so easy. Spend your time practicing the more challenging task, which is reading and writing fill the blanks, read aloud, repeat sentence, and write from dictation instead. Describe image, you just need to practice, let's say 7 days before your exam day. So I use this template from Language Academy, and it's already tried and tested by myself and by many students. So I'm sure I can guarantee you that this template it worked, and of course this template still works today. Now I'm going to show you the demo of how should we perform in describe image. The given image gives information about the graph about the proportion of country share. It is a very beautiful image and I have to speak for 40 seconds about this image. There are different elements in the image which are UK 5%, China 6%, Japan 11%, USA 14%, Australia 21%, and other 43%. One of the elements is maximum and the other is minimum. To conclude, the image is very informative. It's like read aloud. We have to speak naturally, accurately, and properly, and then apply the template that I share with you, and then practice at home, and and then give your best performance during your exam day. So after listening to or watching a lecture, you need to retell the lecture in your own words. So when you hear or when you see the lecture, you just need to take a note down on your notepad. Try to take a phrase, or if you can take a sentence, that's fine. But if not, you just need to take the keywords like now. If you can take the now, or if you can whatever you can take, try to note it down, but you have to take the note clearly. So, you have to be able to read your handwriting, because if after the recording starts and you can't read your own writing, you're gonna be fail. Your speaking score gonna be low. In retail lecture, it contributes to your listening score about 9% and your speaking score about 10%. And you have 40 seconds to perform this task. So in retail lecture, you will have an audio or a video lecture about 40 to 90 seconds long. While the audio is going on, you will need to take down some notes like words. You can take like words or phrases. If you can take sentence, you try to take some notes as much as you can. And after the audio, you will have 10 seconds to prepare. Make sure that you have to be able to read your own writing, and then you will be given 40 seconds to retell the lecture. It contributes to your speaking and listening score. And then in this task, you are going to be assessed on 3 parameters as well: fluency 5 point, pronunciation 5, and content 5 point. I have to say thank you to Language Academy again, because I apply the template from Language Academy, which is very simple and easy for me, and it's worked for me very well. So the template is gonna be like this. You just need to put the topic of your lecture. Topic was the main topic of the lecture. He told about 1, 2, 3. He also told about 4, 5, and 6. The number means like describe image. So you get the keyword and then you put, like, instead of 1, 2, 3, you just put your keywords that you take notes before. You know what I mean? He also told about blah blah blah. To conclude, the lecture was very informative. That's it. It's very simple. You just need to put some keywords in your template and then just speak it naturally, clearly, and accurately. Now I'm going to show you the demo of how should we prepare, how should we perform retail lecture in order to get very good score in speaking section.
There are 4 fundamental forces at work in the universe. Some of them are very familiar from everyday life, some of them are not. So we all know about gravity. That's one of the 4 forces. It's what keeps us anchored to the surface of the Earth, keeps the Earth in orbit around the sun. There's another force that we're all very familiar with, which is the electromagnetic force. That's the force that is responsible for electricity, electric currents, for light, for the sun's light. That's the electromagnetic radiation coming from the sun to the earth. There are two other forces, though, that are somewhat less familiar, and they're the nuclear forces. They are forces that are at work within the nuclei of atoms. One of those forces is called the strong nuclear force. That really is a force that binds protons to protons, binds the quarks inside of the protons and neutrons, keeping them from flying out. The other nuclear force is called the weak nuclear force. And that's a force that predominantly we know of because it's responsible for radioactivity, radioactive decay. So those four forces, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, electromagnetic force, and the gravitational force, those are the forces at work in the universe.
Fundamental forces at work in the universe was the main topic of the lecture. Detail about some of them are not gravity, the four forces, the Earth orbit around the Sun, electromagnetic force, electricity, and also coming from the Sun to the Earth, the nuclear forces within the nuclear atoms. One of those forces, strong nuclear force, bind protons to proton, keeping them from flying out, responsible for radioactivity. So those four forces, gravitational force. To conclude, the lecture was very informative. How should we perform for retail lecture in order to get very good score in speaking section? And now we are going to see the last task of speaking section, which is answer short question. Answer short question, you're gonna have 5 to 6 questions during your exam day. After listening to a question, we have to answer with a single word or a few words. If you know the answer, just speak it clearly. If you don't know the answer, don't worry too much. What I did was I tried to get some keywords of the question and then I just repeat it. Or you can say something like, I don't know. I don't know if it's work, but for me, if I don't know the answer, I just try to get the keyword from the sentence, from the question that I hear, and then I just speak that keyword. If you know the answer, you just speak the answer. If you don't know, speak something. Try not to stay silent. In answer short question, you are going to get the score for listening about 4% and speaking about 5%. And I'm going to show you how I perform in answer short question.
Which major branch of science deals with classification of living things?
Biology. So once again, if you know the answer, speak the answer naturally, accurately, and clearly. If you don't know, try to speak something that you can think of. So I have to say thank you so much for watching my video about how to deal with the speaking module in PTE exam. This is everything that we should know to succeed PTE speaking section. It's already tried and tested by myself and many other students. So everything that you see and hear on my video is worked before, and of course all the templates still work today as well. I hope this video was helpful or interesting in some way. If you still have any other tips that you want to share to help each other out, or if you still have any questions for myself, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below. I'm wishing you all the very best for your PTE exam, especially for your speaking module. If you like this video, you might need to check another video about my PTE 79 plus journey as well. Remember, don't practice hard, but practice smart. Take care of yourself, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye.